do this on Twitter. If you're somebody that follows Cozy, you will know. If you don't follow Cozy, then you wouldn't know. But I'm gonna show this. Let me see if I can find Cozy here. Yes, I can find Cozy. Let me see what he posted. It was just sick. I loved it. It was an article he sent. Where is it? He sent an article. Yes, I think it's this one. Love it. Long, very long. And because he's verified like me, we can type and type 4,000 characters, so you can keep going and going and going. I mean, that's a lot. Instead of having a thread of posts or tweets, you can have a long article. So Cozy, my guy, he will not mind me obviously using this. Obviously, you can follow him as well if you want to. He wouldn't mind me using that. So let me go share it with you and show you what Cozy said. This is just another level stuff. Trust me. This is another level stuff. Let me just go straight away and show you. So Cozy said, let me see if I can zoom in. Zoom in, yes. Zoom in a bit. Right. Cool. So I've zoomed in. Now you can see much bigger fonts, and so everything looks cool, right? Okay. So please stay with me. This is very important. So Cozy says some thoughts about Pi Network. In this article, you're going to learn about Pi's price, value, and some things that affect them. So now we're talking about the price of Pi, the value of Pi, and some things that affect them. That's what we're talking about. Thanks to Cozy, my guy. Okay. He says, I know there is a big divide around the price, around Pi's value, and people have their own ideologies as to how things should or will be. Therefore, I feel the need to serve the community by sharing my own thoughts. Instead of shoving down and forcing an ideology down your throat, I'd rather explore topics from different dimensions. I'm here to feed your Pi's curiosity, not to sell you anything. Enjoy. And then, of course, he said here, important. I recommend reading my previous article covering the basics of Pi Network. By reading the article, you're going to get the full picture. All right, so you can go read it. The link is there. So 3 points. How much is Pi worth? What's the value of Pi? How much is Pi going to be worth if X years? Whatever. So we don't know how, whatever. So let's see. But before that, guys, please put your comments in there, because this is some great stuff that my guy Cozy put. And trust me, I do love it. I do love it. I'll read all your comments once I finish, guys. I'll read all your comments once I finish. But this is so good. Do you know what I mean? This is so good. So let me go back and read them. You're not alone if you ask those questions. Countless people, including myself, asked those questions before, asking them right now, and will be asking those for years to come. Surprisingly, every time I speak to someone about the topic of Pi's value, they have a number or a range of numbers in mind. What's interesting is the ideologies behind those valuations and the different scenarios that could lead up to those valuations. I've heard and read hundreds of ideas, scenarios, dumb AF reasonings, and everything in between. They left me kind of confused and made me question things. Why? Why does everyone think so differently about Pi's value? With all the previous coin launch histories and value information, shouldn't valuing Pi be simple? What's the correct calculation? What is the most likely scenario? In the quest for knowledge, I seek the answers. However, just like you and everyone else, I don't have a crystal ball to see the future and give you the exact outcome. Instead of allowing me to dissect two of the main questions today, come up with some conclusions for you. The third question is about Pi's future value. Will come next Sunday. So today we'll just be talking about Pi's worth, which is Pi's price, and then of course we'll talk about the value. So you need to understand. Let me tell you something, guys. You need to understand when I say that listen, there are Cozy. I'll get him on the show one of these days. One Friday or so, I'll get him on the show, and when I get him, he would elaborate more on that. And when he does, you will be here. I know you would join, and you would love what my guy Cozy talks about, because there are things that you need to understand when it comes to Pi Network's valuation. There are a lot of things you need to understand. I've spoken a lot about it in depth. And so I would love you to also, share your ideas when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, it is not as simple as people think it is. It's not. It's never been that simple. Do you know what I mean? All right, let me show you something. So let me go back and let's talk about this. So note, price and value are different things. Keep this in mind, which I spoke about on the live show several times, that there's a difference between price and value. So some time ago, the official FAQ stated Pi's value is 0. That was before the mainnet migrations began around a year ago. Since then, the whole segment is removed from the FAQ. Today, if you visit CoinMarketCap to check the price of Pi, it has a chart and a current valuation that tracks Pi. However, no real Pi can be traded on exchanges, as those connections are blocked by a firewall. The chart you see there track Pi IOUs, which are most certainly not real Pi, and definitely do not reflect or emulate the real Pi trading. I wrote an article, the Pi IOUs as they happened early this year. I recommend you read my thread on it, and then the link is there. So if you go there, you're going to see it. Additionally, visionary and co-founder of Pi Network, Dr. Nicholas Kokalis, once stated, Pi's worth what the pioneers make it worth, quote and unquote. Okay. But there are people saying Pi's worth 0. There are people saying it's $314,159. And there are countless people saying somewhere in between. So which one is it right now? The truth right now is it depends. Here is why. Every pioneer has a different story and stats included. Example, one person that mined 3,000 Pi over 2 years is not migrated to mainnet with some available balance, has a different idea than someone that some Pi migrated to mainnet and even traded for real goods and services. With every pioneer situation being so different, people perceive the value of Pi very differently, which is very true. Very, very, very true. And there is one thing I need you guys to know. The valuation of Pi obviously is relative. That's one thing you should know. A lot of people will think about it differently. I personally, I have my own sort of price in my head for starters, but I may be wrong. It's just my own valuation. Just like you may have a different valuation. For me, it doesn't make yours wrong nor right. It doesn't make mine right or wrong. So again, whatever happens, we will know come open mainnet. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what Cozy here is saying. Now, I read it today. It was so interesting, and I thought, you know what? Let me let you guys know, because if I don't do it, it will not be remiss of me. So let me just read a bit, and then we would conclude. So, in short, Pi can be mined for free. There is no market value for Pi. Pi's price varies from transaction to transaction as people attach different valuations to Pi on each transaction. If you find a good deal or a trusted buyer or seller, that's when you come to see or negotiate Pi's price for the transaction. In order to make life easy for all of us, Pi would need a market price, and to get that, we need to reach the open mainnet phase when Pi can be listed on global exchanges worldwide, which is what I spoke about earlier today. Earlier in the show. I told you that, especially what Chandra's Steenkamp said, that we have to get there because the vendors don't know the price of Pi. So they're either trading it overvaluing Pi or undervaluing Pi. Nobody knows. But if we were to be in the open mainnet, then it becomes easier to trade Pi for goods and services, or for fiat, depending on what your interests are. Do you know what I mean? So I am very, 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 very enthusiastic about what Cozy has been doing. So if you look here at the second part, what is the value of pi? I would argue, what is the value of pi in a more complex topic than what is the price of pi. So let's dig in. Value is relative and subjective. Obviously, what he means is you can't actually place a specific sort of number to value. You can't say I value my item at such and such amount fiat wise. You can't say that because it depends on how valuable you hold it. Do you know what I mean? About value being relative, let's say you live in a town. You could get some water for free from your tap in your home. Ask your neighbor for some. Go the old-fashioned way and go to the well, or even pay a very low price for some water in a supermarket and more. Who cares about water anyway when there are countless ways to access it near you, right? It's very low cost and very accessible. The value of water is therefore negligible since you can always have some. Well, how about in the middle of the desert? Would you pay $10 for a bottle of water in the scorching desert? How about $100 for a glass of water after a day in the heat? What would you give for some water to survive? Context changes valuations, and that's very true. See, so that's why it's subjective and relative and not objective and fixed. Do you get what I'm saying? About value being subjective, some things might seem objectively more valuable than other things. A high quality car, for example, can sell for more than a lower quality car. But that precise value still depends on the individual buyers and how they subjectively interpret the value of that quality. Simply put, a Mercedes may be a higher quality automobile than some other brands. Yet, not everybody who can afford a Mercedes buys one or buys a similar high quality car. The higher quality is not worth that much more to them, even though it is to someone else. These affect the valuation of pi drastically worldwide. See, so that's what I've been talking about on the channel. I kept telling you that the valuation of pi is relative. You know, it's always been relative. And so people might say, why is it that we can't have a fixed value? Which is what could bring me to the GCV. Do you know what I mean? Because you can say GCV, right? And everyone knows my stance on GCV. You know, not to offend anyone, but this is just being pragmatic here. So if you say, GCV, so you support GCV, that doesn't necessarily mean you value pi. You're rating pi at a certain rate, at a certain price. But remember, in the markets, it doesn't work like that because that price could drop. And when it drops, the value goes down significantly because they're proportional. They're directly proportional. The value and price are directly proportional to one another. So you may value your price at 314159, but if the price goes down, your valuation goes down with it. Do you get what I'm saying? Hence, you lose. So we have to be realistic here. But like he said, like I've been saying, it is subjective and it's relative, which is what we say when we value something. Do you know what I'm saying? Listen, I didn't want to talk so much about this, but I think you get the gist. So smash the like button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. And if you want to become a member,